We are now in the fourth chapter of the project integration management, or rather, we are now in the fourth process phase that is involved in a project integration management, that is, the monitor and control project work. We know in our earlier chapters that the monitoring and controlling activities in a project phase works in controlling and monitoring the entire process activities throughout the project life cycle. Well, in this chapter, we will be discussing the various inputs, tools and techniques that are required in a project integration management phase. So what exactly is monitoring and controlling project work? It is a process of tracking, reviewing, and reporting the progress to meet the performance objectives defined in the project management plan. The process of monitoring is basically performed throughout the project phases and includes collecting, measuring, and distributing performance-related information. Continuous monitoring in a project cycle gives management insight into the health of the project and identifies areas that require special attention. The key benefit of the monitor and control project work is that it benefits stakeholders by letting them know the current state of the project, budget and schedule, and scope forecast. It also helps them know the steps taken in the project work. The process flow diagram. So basically, this diagram will show you the inputs and tools and techniques that are required in this process of the monitoring and control project work. We will be discussing each of these inputs, tools and techniques, and the desired outputs of this process. What are the processes concerned? So the processes that are concerned with the monitoring and control project work are comparing actual project performance against the project management plan, and this is done in order to ensure that the variance is met properly. Assessing performance, identifying new risks and making sure the risks are identified, their status are reported, and appropriate risk response plans are executed. This is done to make sure that the risk is mitigated well during the project phase. Maintaining an accurate and timely information, providing information to support status reporting and forecasting, providing forecast to update the current cost and schedule information, monitoring implementation of approved changes as and when they occur in the project, and the last one, providing appropriate reporting on project progress and reporting the status to the management. So let's discuss the inputs that are required in the monitoring and controlling project work. The first input, project management plan. As we all know, the project management plan serves as an input to other processes too, because project management plan is the initial stages for any project. It consists of subsidiary plans and baselines. The subsidiary plan within a project management plan forms the basis for controlling the project What are the different components of subsidiary plans and baselines? Scope management plan, requirements management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan, where you take care of the quality of the project, process improvement plan, human resource management plan, that is the HR plan, which takes care of the employees, communications management plan that tracks and records the communications with the stakeholders, risk management plan, procurement management plan. The procurement management plan will ensure that the required procurement of goods and services are done appropriately. Stakeholder management plan, scope baseline, schedule baseline, and cost baseline. Now, since we have come into this study, so let us first understand what a baseline is. A baseline can be defined as the minimum or a starting point for a comparison. You can also call a baseline as a benchmarking tool to understand the performance of a project. The second input, schedule forecast. The schedule forecast is derived from progress against the schedule baseline and computed time estimate to complete, that is the ETC. A schedule baseline is basically a fixed project schedule, that is the timeline of the project. It is a standard by which the project performance is measured. It is expressed in terms of schedule variance and schedule performance index. The schedule variance, that is the SV as the name says, shows the variance or the deviation from the baseline plan of the project. The schedule performance index, as discussed here, shows the performance of the planned work. In general terms, if the SPI or the schedule performance index is greater than 1, it means that more work has to be completed than the planned work. The third input, cost forecast. The cost forecast is derived from progress against the cost baseline and computed estimate time to complete, that is the ETC. It is expressed in terms of cost variance and cost performance index. The way we define schedule variance and schedule performance index, similarly we have the cost variance that shows the deviation from the cost baseline and the cost performance index that shows the performance of the cost. Validated changes. Validated changes are approved changes that result from the project integration management change control and requires validation. So why is validation required? Validation is required to ensure that the change was appropriately implemented. We come to the fifth input, that is the work performance information. We have discussed this earlier too. The work performance information has performance-related data that is collected from various controlling processes, analyzed in context, and integrated based on relationships across areas. They are circulated through communication process. Examples of work performance information are deliverables and implementation status for change requests. Since we have come to this topic, let us first understand what is the difference between a data and information. A data cannot be directly used in a decision-making process as it contains raw data and out-of-context information. To ensure that the raw data is transformed into useful data, it is converted into information, or rather transformed into information. So in work performance information, the work performance data is transformed into work performance information, and it is this information that is used for the decision-making process. The enterprise environmental factors. So the factors that influence the enterprise environmental factors are governmental or industry standards, organization work authorization systems, stakeholder risk tolerances, and project management information system. The seventh input, that is, the organizational process assets. So the factors that influence the organizational process assets are organizational communication requirements, financial control procedures, issue and defect management procedures, change control procedures. The change control here defines the amount of change that is required in the project scope. The risk control procedures, process measurement database, and the lessons learned database. We now come to the tools and techniques that are required to be used for the inputs. The first one, expert judgment. We know that an expert judgment is basically performed by an individual or a group which has a skilled knowledge on the functional and technical aspects of a project. So why is expert judgment used here? It is used to interpret the information provided by the monitor and control processes. The project manager, together in collaboration with the team, determines the actions required to ensure that the project performance matches the expectations of the project. Analytical techniques. Analytical techniques are very useful in any industry or business circumstance. They are applied in project management to forecast potential outcomes based on the changes or variations in the project phases. They help the higher management and the project teams in understanding where they stand today. The different analytical techniques that are used are regression analysis, grouping methods, causal analysis, root cause analysis. The root cause finds out the root cause of the problem and reports the cause to the project manager. Forecasting methods, failure mode and effect analysis, fault tree analysis, reserve analysis, trend analysis for predicting the trend of the project performance, the earned value management, and finally the variance analysis. The project management information system. The project management information system is a part of the enterprise environmental factor and provides access to automated tools such as scheduling, cost and resourcing tools, performance indicators, databases, and financials during the monitor and control project work processes. The fourth tools and technique that is required is meetings. Meetings are of course very general in nature and is required, or rather a basic necessity in any project management. The different types of meetings are face-to-face meetings, virtual meetings, and formal or informal meetings. So let us discuss the outputs of the project and control project work process. The first output is the change request output. Change requests necessitate the collection and documentation of new requirements. The change requests basically arise as a result of comparing the planned result and the actual result. And based on this comparison, change requests may be issued to expand, adjust, or reduce the project scope, schedule, or cost baselines. The change request can impact the overall project management plan, the project-related documents, and the project deliverables. So what exactly do they include? The first one, corrective action. Corrective action is an intentional activity that realigns the performance of the project work with the project management plan. It takes corrective actions in rectifying the mistakes, or rather rectifying the change requests, and aligns with the project management plan. The second one, preventive action. Preventive action is again an intentional activity that ensures the future performance of the project work is aligned with the project management plan. And the last one, defect repair. The defect repair is an intentional activity to modify a non-conforming product or a product component. The work performance reports. The work performance reports are required in any phase or activity of a project. They basically represent physical or electronic representation of work performance information compiled in project documents, intended to generate decisions, actions, or awareness. They are a subset of the project documents which are intended to create awareness and generate decisions or actions. Some of the examples of work performance reports are status reports that report the status of the project work, memos, project-related notes, or recommendation and updates. The third output, project management plan updates. The elements of the project management plan that may be updated as a result of the monitor and control project work are scope management plan, requirements management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan, scope, schedule, and the cost baselines. So all these elements are updated as a result of this process. The fourth output, project document updates. The project documents that may be updated as a result of the monitor and control project work are schedule and cost forecasts, work performance reports, and finally the issues log. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video.